He ain't. A short frame. Came right out of the yard here yesterday. That one they're making up has 108. It wasn't so long ago, a dozen cars were considered quite a load. In fact, it wasn't really too long ago. The whole idea of railroads was considered a wild-eyed dream, except to a few railroads. Those shining rails shelved towards the west. First thing you knew, there was a settlement. Overnight, a brand new town. Whole cities sprang up. Industrial centers. Seemed like wherever it went, the iron horse carried prosperity on its back, and there was no stopping it. As our country grew, the West demanded more goods. The East replied, more raw materials. More speed they begged in the West. More power from the East. More power meant bigger locomotives. And heavier rails to carry them.
When you lay the rails, boys, the shiny silver rails, boys. When you lay the rails, boys, down on the ground, soon the train will ride through, big and black and shiny. When you lay the rails, boys, the shiny silver rails.
More weight required stronger bridges. But bigger engines and reinforced roadbeds made possible heavier loads and faster schedules to meet the ever greater demands of a growing nation.
When you lay the rails, boys, the shiny silver rails, boys.
Almost before we realized what was happening, the steam locomotive had built a new continent. But that was only the beginning. A new kind of power was available, and railroad men were already working to put this power to use. As early as 1892, they put into operation a locomotive driven by electricity. It was the start of a whole new age in railroading. In the great terminal cities like New York, smoke had become a serious problem. Electric power was the answer to that. 1905, Grand Central Terminal went underground. 1910, Pennsylvania Station. The electric train was on the move from New York to New Haven, Baltimore to Bridgeport, Newark to Trenton, Wilmington, Philadelphia, Washington. Today, we take for granted what is really a tremendous accomplishment, the electrification of railroads. Electrification makes it possible to bring power from faraway generating plants to the fingertips of an engineer. Immediate power, smoother power, and speed plenty of speed, with greater safety and comfort. In densely populated areas where the traffic is heavy, the electric train is the most economical form of transportation. In other areas, railroads use electrification to overcome difficult engineering problems, to level off steep grades, to eliminate the hazards of smoke in long tunnels. In 2 decades, the electrified railroad has come of age. But out in the wide open spaces, over the long, lonely stretches, overhead wire installations were not yet practical. Here was a different problem. Required an electric locomotive that could run anywhere, on any track, without overhead wires or third rails. In 1924, a diesel-electric power plant was put to work in a switching locomotive. It was the answer. But it still took years of research, testing, developing, modifying, and improving to transform that early workhorse into a modern electric powerhouse on wheels. An electric locomotive that can operate anywhere because it carries its own power plant wherever it goes. Northwest, from Kansas to California, the Great Lakes to the Gulf, from one end of this great land to the other, diesel-electric locomotive. Inside, a diesel engine drives a high-speed generator, which supplies current to individual electric motors mounted on the wheels. On the downgrade, when the engineer cuts the power, these traction motors provide added safety through dynamic braking. Electric resistance produces a smooth and powerful braking action. Greater safety on the downgrades, more power on the upgrades. But motive power in itself is not the only reason for faster train schedules. To speed the safe movement of passengers and freight, the railroads use electricity in many other ways. For direct communication between dispatchers and train crews.
10:57 over.
Say, hold those refrigerator coolers on track 4.
Okay, Charlie.
Electrical devices make material handling faster and easier. push-button control, a 50-ton coal car can be lifted and dumped like a box of matches. Conveyor belts save time and lots of back-breaking labor. But because of all the needs of commerce and industry, the railroad's day is never done. Electricity makes it possible to work around the clock, and it does a big share of the job. Train schedules are maintained round the clock, too, with added safety through centralized traffic control. From his board, the dispatcher can tell at a glance the situation of all traffic in his division.
West Yard, this is Extra 1621 West. Ready to go.
Okay, leave on arrival number 4, on time.
Behind the board are hundreds of delicate instruments which transmit electrical impulses to and from the far-flung installations in the field. With this high-precision equipment, the dispatcher can follow and control the movement of trains for as much as 250 miles. With the twist of a lever, he can close a faraway switch and clear the signal which protects it. A reactor light on his board tells him that the action is completed. He knows the location and direction of every train in his division at every moment. The signal lights on the board tell the story. 2 trains approaching each other on the same track. Passenger westbound for San Francisco. Freight eastbound for Chicago. Traffic control goes into action. The eastbound freight gets a caution signal. The freight is switched over to a siding, but continues at reduced speed. For the passenger train, westbound, clear track ahead. It stays on the main line and passes the freight at full speed. Full speed with complete safety by remote electrical control. Passenger westbound to San Francisco on time. Freight eastbound resumes speed. Other ingenious devices provide for safety under difficult weather conditions. Electric snow melters keep switch points free of ice and snow. In the event of local power failures, safety equipment continues to operate on emergency currents supplied by batteries which are stored in the base of signals. Electricity makes the train of today as comfortable and as pleasant as your own home. The dining car is a first-rate restaurant, moving at 100 miles an hour. In the galley, just like in your own kitchen, electricity does the trick. Hot or cold. We've come a long way from the first iron horse, and we intend to keep right on going. Right down the main line of progress. There's no end to the job of seeking new sources of power, developing new materials, striving for the best results, designing and redesigning. But the work pays off. Again, they're testing something new. The gas turbine electric locomotive. But whatever the source of its motive power, coal, diesel, gas, jet, electronic, or atomic, the iron horse will always be moved by the guiding motive of railroading men, to serve its friends along the shining rails that bind our nation together.